Okay. So we were saying that we have a lot of countries that are imposing some regulations and incentives in order to increase the use of renewable energy. We can talk also about the heating and cooling field. So also in this field, we have 26 countries that are forcing and putting some regulations towards the use of renewable energy. That's why we are hoping that renewable energy has a really important future and will be able, hopefully, in a short while to be able to compete with fossil fuels and after a certain period of time replace it completely. So as we can see here, we have the global investment in renewable power and fuels between 2011 and 2021. Even in this case, we can compare the percentage of use and of total investment in solar PV and wind power and other renewable energies. So we have a lot of investments with high amounts of money in these different fields, and we can see the increase in investment, especially in last years. So if you observe between 2018 and 2021, you have a large increase in money spent in developing renewable resources. Mainly the solar PV strategy is one of the major renewable strategies that we are investing in. Also wind power with a little smaller percentage, and also for all other renewable energies we have a certain part. Of course we will see, hope we'll see development in other renewable energies, because we have a lot of other resources that can be of interest, like the use of water energy, hydropower, etc. Now we have also national net zero policies and their status of implementation and renewable energy targets. When we talk about these strategies, they are tending to reduce, if you want, the energy consumption. And we have economy-wide renewable energies that is crucial to achieve net zero emissions. So we have already 84 countries that have both a net zero and economy-wide renewable energy target. So whenever we start to put regulations, and we'll talk in this course in a certain part, we'll talk about energy policies. It's very important to put regulations, to follow certain policies in order to enhance, if you want, the use of renewable energy and make it on a larger scale viable. Because now, let's say in Lebanon, we are still in the first stage. So each, let's say, home try to implement renewable energy because it will reduce the cost, etc. But if we have some regulations from the countries, this will increase a lot the percentage of use of renewable energy. So until now we have nearly 135 countries with net zero policies. Let's say 8 of them is completely achieved, so they already declared the policies. 14 of them are still exploring them in law. 15 are in the declaration stage. In 69 countries, we have some discussions and proposition about regulations in order to reach the net zero state. And we have in 29 in policy document to reach net zero stage. So this number of countries is really good. And we can hope that with time, of course, this number will increase, and this will lead to a better use of energy resources that are renewable. Here we can see the solar sector is really a very advancing sector, and we are using more and more the renewable solar energy. With time we have a lot of increase. So here we can compute in this graph, we can see the solar PV global capacity and annual additions. So we can see that we moved from 70 gigawatt in 2011 of production to a total of 942 gigawatts. So you can imagine the amount of increase from 2011 to 2021. This is really encouraging, and this will lead to more and more advancement in solar technologies. We can observe also solar water heating collectors. So until now, mainly solar PV is one of the more advanced technologies, but also we can focus not only on solar PV, because other systems also have a lot of advantages, and we should always do more and more research and do technological advancement to make them more viable. So for example, here we have solar water heating collectors. You can see also here an increase, but the increase rate is not as solar PV. Okay, because in solar PV we're able to do a lot of technological development. This is what explains the really large rate of increase in capacity from solar PV. However, let's say for solar water heating collectors, this technology was already, if you want, good from the first stage. And from 2011, we already have a high production compared to solar PV. So for case of solar water heating collectors, it was 285 compared to 70 for solar PV. But because we had a high technological development in solar PV, it was able to overcome the capacity of solar water heating collectors. Also, the concentrating solar thermal power sector is also a developing sector. And as we can see, also here we have an increase in the total production, but still, until now, the solar PV is the dominant mode that is used, and it is observing really a very high increase in trends. So we can, for example, if we want to do a research on solar technologies, we can compare these technologies and see why solar PV has advanced a lot and what can be done to, let's say, the solar water heating collector systems, or what can be done to concentrating solar thermal power systems in order to advance as solar PV sector. Another very important resource of renewable energy is wind. Okay, and you know, for example, in Lebanon, a very interesting combination can be combining the use of solar and wind energies. This is because we know that maybe we don't have the sun all the times, and we don't have wind all the times. And in general, when we don't have the sun, we have a high probability of having wind. That's why using both can be a very good strategy. Then we can reduce the use of fossil fuels, and we need lower energy backup if we use both at the same time. So here also we can observe the large increase in wind power global capacity with time. From 2011 to 2021, we have a continuous increase with an increase in rate, which is really encouraging for this technology. So the top countries for share of variable renewable electricity generation are Denmark, Uruguay, Spain, Portugal, Ireland, Germany, Greece, the United Kingdom, Australia, etc. So you can see that the majority of these countries are developed countries. And this explains the importance of regulation and countries putting policies to improve the use of renewable energy and encourage people to use renewable energy. So we can see here, for example, that in Denmark, we have really a maximum daily penetration of both solar and wind in the sector, which helped into sharing a high percentage of renewable energy worldwide. Now, if we do a small comparison, if you want, of the global weighted average life cycle cost assessment from newly commissioned utility scale renewable power generation technologies, we can see the importance of economical analysis in using renewable energy. What we mean by this, okay, if we observe the variation of the capital in USD for production of 1 megawatt hour, if we compare from 2010 to 2021, we can see the decrease in the cost of the megawatt hour when we use solar PV system. And this can be one of the main causes, if you want, of the large advancement of the solar PV sector. Because we have seen that for this sector, we really observed a very high increase in production. This is explained by the technological advancement that led to a reduction of the cost of 1 megawatt hour from nearly 4,000 USD per megawatt hour in 2000, let's say 10 here, 404 nearly, until 46 USD per megawatt hour in 2021. And you know the importance of economical analysis in any engineering project, because as we discussed, solar PV might be a very important technology, but if it's costing a lot, no one will, and the percentage of investors will be very small. However, if you are able to do some advancement in the technology of the system to reduce its cost and make it widely available, this will lead to a higher production from this sector, and this explaining therefore the large increase in production using solar photovoltaic system. On the other hand, if we look at concentrating solar thermal power, we already have a high price, but that was lower than solar PV. This explains that in the beginning, this sector was more productive than the solar photovoltaic sector. However, okay, here also we have a decrease, which is good, but the advancement in solar PV technology was much important than in the case of concentrating solar thermal power. Therefore, we were not able to reduce the cost to a level comparable to the one of solar photovoltaic, and this explained the increase in production using solar photovoltaic, which is much larger than the one when observing concentrating solar thermal power. From here, the importance of economics in any engineering project that we are offering. So always we should try to decrease the cost of, let's say here, of megawatt hour in order to encourage people to invest in this technology. If we look at other cases of renewable energy, when we talk about offshore wind power, you know that for wind power you have two main types. Okay, we have the offshore and the onshore wind power. When we talk about offshore, so it's let's say we are using water spaces. You use the sea or water to put your wind turbines, while onshore it's on the earth. Okay, and of course the offshore represents the advantage of having a lot of space, and you will be in this way a little bit far from residents and from homes because of the high noise produced by wind. While for onshore, we have the advantage that you don't have large distances to, if you want to transport heat production of the produced energy. So this will enhance the efficiency of energy use. So if we look at these two sectors, also we have reduction in all of sectors. You find reduction in cost per megawatt hour because of the continuous technological development and research done in order to enhance energy efficiency of such systems. But also it is clear that the largest decrease in cost is for solar photovoltaics, and this will explain for us the previous slide showing really a very great increase in capacity using solar PV systems. Okay, so from here we can see the importance of energy economics, because energy economics will if you want, impose a certain sector to advance much more than others. That's why we should learn how to conduct economical analysis of engineering projects in order to select the best alternative. And we should always keep in mind to continue doing research for other fields in order to make them more economically viable and profit from these engineering strategies for production of energy. Now, if we consider, for example, another use of renewable energy is in the transportation field. So, but here we have also a revolution, because we are using a completely a new strategy that is really of high importance, but it is a little bit slower revolutions compared to the, if you want, electricity sector for use in buildings. So here, the use of electric car is another strategy to use renewable energy and to try to replace fossil fuels. As you can see, if you observe the number of cars relying on electricity, we have a large increase from 2015 to 2021, and this rate is really becoming higher and higher recently, which is good. Okay. Now, China is one of the leading countries in this sector, where we have 48% of produced electric cars are produced in China. After China, we have Europe, 12% for the United States, and 7% for the rest of the world. So this is a developing technology that is really gaining more and more interest and can be the future for vehicles, because as we know, we try to rely less and less on fossil fuels because of the different disadvantages presented by using fossil fuel energy. Another factor that is very important whenever we talk about energy is the efficiency. So we always try to increase the efficiency of use of energy.